live. We have 4 simple rules. Number 1, we don't discuss politics, ever. Number 2, this is not a religious channel, and while you might hear people say, God bless you, or I'm going to pray for you, or I wouldn't have gotten through this without my faith, that's fine. What's not fine is to say, my God is better than your God, or here's why you're not getting into heaven. It's not going to fly. Number 3, we believe wholeheartedly if you can't control your tongue, then you can't control your life. So while on board, there's not going to be any cursing in the live chat, period. And number 4, there is no room for mean people on the lifeboat. Because we discuss very sensitive things from people's past in our group setting, we got to protect those people. The only way they feel confident and comfortable discussing those things is in an environment that is free of trolls and mean people. So if you're a mean person or you're a troll, we're going to block you for life. And if your account happens to be less than 24 hours old, we're probably right from the word go. Why? Well, because there are people in this world who enjoy being cruel solely for the sake of being cruel. It's not going to fly here. But if you're here because you're trying to get sober and live your best life, then you might find that the lifeboat is just that, a lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and we will see you on deck.
Hey everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you're on the lifeboat. Hope you had a great weekend. I really do. I had a pretty good one. Actually left the house for a little while today. I went out and went to a picnic that is thrown for the entire neighborhood. The sort of 2,700 home development, the part of town that we live in. They do a lot of stuff with concerts I've talked about, and we went to a little outdoor deal. It was about 100 degrees, though. It was just one of those days that the heat just knocks you out. I was out there a short period of time, and when I came back, it was everything I could do to stay awake. But today we're going to talk about self-control. Maybe we should talk about the myth of self-control, because to be really honest with you, I'm not 100% sure that that self-control, the way we think about it, exists. And it was fun. I started doing a little research on this subject matter because it's something that I wrestle with. And I don't mean self-control for for drugs and things like that. I mean, because I'm doing pretty well with that. I just mean self-control for everything else. What I do for a living requires just an abnormal amount of patience, and I don't always have it. It's something that I really struggle with. And it was fun. I started researching this. I came across a quote from Mr. Rogers, oddly enough. And I love this quote. Fred Rogers said, "Human beings are not born with self-control. We have to learn what we do with the mad that we feel. Learning to control ourselves is a long, hard process. It happens little by little. In fact, it is something we work on all through our entire lives." This was a cat who really spent a lot of time dealing with kids. And for those of you who are parents, or for those of you who have nieces and nephews, when kids are small, especially the twos and the threes, you give a child a cookie and the child says, "Can I have another one?" And you say, "No, you can only have one of those," and they throw themselves on the floor, right? They literally toss themselves on the floor and go into just a complete and utter meltdown, because self-control is not something we are born with. In fact, we're born with an animal nature that we then spend the majority of our life trying to get under control. Over the year that we have been doing the lifeboat, there are certain subject matters that come up again and again and again and again, and there's a very important reason for that. Hold that thought. Before I get going, lest there's some chance I forget this, because this would be an absolute travesty. If I'm not mistaken, tomorrow is when our friend Tommy Bird goes to probation. I want everybody just hammering this with prayers and with positive thoughts and whatever, how you deal with things like this. If there's anybody out here that exemplifies what they want out of somebody rehabilitating themselves, it's Tommy Bird, and I want everybody to put a little time in on this. We want him on the boat every day, and it would really be an awful thing for anything to happen other than exactly what needs to happen. So thoughts and prayers for Tommy. Sorry, please. Okay. Now, over the course of the year that we've been here, there are certain subjects that we continually come back to because there are theories concerning addiction, and there are certain theories that we really we adhere to. There are things that we really believe. The fact that the reward center of the brain is the cause of addiction is something we talk about an awful lot. And one of the things that we've been talking about more recently is some of the research that they've done on a part of the brain called the striatum. And I'm going to be going back to that a lot because I think in that research lies the secret to not only staying sober, but the secret to life. If you think about the brain as a computer, and it's a very interesting way to think about the brain. It's something that makes a lot of sense, I think, to a lot of people. If you take a calculator and you type in 3 plus 3, the calculator has no idea what 3 plus 3 is. There's not a little person in there thinking, right? All it is a machine that reacts to the buttons that have been pushed. We are the exact same thing. Now, going on at the same time, we have a part of our brain that is capable of unbelievable thought and creativity and all of these different things. But make no mistake, the majority of what's going on in our brain is 3 plus 3 equals 6. This just happened, right? And this causes this feeling. So that equals, I'm going to do this. I have beat to death certain things. I think it's a good idea to make your bed when you get up in the morning. All right. I've gotten hate mail over this from so many people that are tired of hearing it. I'll just keep reading the hate mail because this is huge. And there's a reason, right? Why do I make the bed every morning? I have said many times in the past that I make the bed because it's a proclamation that I am a different person. The old person didn't do this, so the new person will. And that was the best way that I could explain it until I really started delving into this this whole different study of the brain and the reactive part of our brain. Now it makes a lot more sense to me. When I get up in the morning and I make the bed, right, there is an instant chemical reaction in the brain. The striatum goes, oh, he's up, he's making the bed, this is going to be a decent day, right? And I tell you, people, when I get up and I don't feel like dealing with it and I don't want to bother making the bed, then that reactive part of my brain starts the day off in a completely different way. Thank you, Tara. That is too kind. I appreciate that. I really do. What ends up happening, people, is that the reactive part of your brain says this plus this equals have a little feel-good chemical. Okay, when we start dealing with self-control, when we start dealing with things that we do not have the ability to control, we have to start reprogramming the brain. And the really funny thing, people, is that even without knowing this science, both my partner and I talked about this nonstop. We just didn't understand the science behind it. When Mark would say, going back, Lord, I don't know how long, right? We're talking about a long time ago now. But when Mark started saying, I think the key for me was I had to make a different set of memories. I had to go out and I had to create different things. If Mark had said I had to reprogram the striatum in my brain, he'd have been saying the exact same thing in a different way. But what we're doing is we're reprogramming the brain so that 1 plus 1 doesn't equal the same answer that it used to. Right? I get a package in the mail. I'm expecting a very expensive watch. The watch comes out, it's completely destroyed. Meltdown. Right? That's this plus that, meltdown. Throw something against the wall, start cursing, losing control. And the process of reprogramming the brain is a fascinating thing because in the beginning, it isn't going to be second nature striatum. It isn't going to be 1 + 1 = 3. It's going to be 1 + 1 = 7. Why am I doing this 7 stuff again? Right? I need to, truthfully, people, that's how this works. When the process starts of reprogramming the self-control in your brain, you're going to catch yourself doing really screwed up things. When you concentrate on the fact that you want to make change, you'll catch yourself. And Mark's seen me do it. I mean, since trying to get control, because I got control over the drugs. I really did. It's a part of my life that I don't sweat very much. Now I sweat stuff that I guess is, I don't know if I did it in the right order. I don't know that there is a right order. I think that for me, if I didn't really concentrate on the drug thing, by now I'd have been dead. So that was the primary goal for me, was to make sure that I was going to be alive long enough to keep things going. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate you, man. I love this boat too. I really do. People, I cannot begin to tell you how much I love this boat. The reprogramming of the brain became something that, as I got sober, and I think this happens to a lot of people. I know it happens to my bobbleheaded partner because we've had this conversation about 200 times. But the longer we're sober, the more we begin to nitpick our lives. Not in a bad way, more often than not in a really good way. You start to look at things and say, you know what? I'm not doing this as well as I could. I'm not. Yeah, I'm sober. I'm not screwing up. I'm not on my way to prison. I haven't thought about bank robbery or drugs or anything stupid in a really long time, but I melt down quicker than anybody alive. And I told the story on the boat, I think about a week ago, but Mark, God bless my partner. He's just a really cool guy. But about 6 or 7 months ago, during a time that we couldn't get the show up and running, I had to run and get a backup camera. I didn't turn off the first one. So while I was running up the stairs with this camera in my hand that wasn't working correctly, I was calling Mark a very, very long list of creative terms, none of which were particularly kind. And I think by that point, Mark knew I love him. That's not something that was in question. I would imagine if that had been one of the first 5 shows, we wouldn't be partners. He would have been like, boy, this guy's a loser. I can't believe the things you just said about me. Instead, he just kind of chuckled and filed it away. And it's funny because I don't think I think he waited to bring it up until he thought I had that part of my life under control. Because as opposed to the shame of it, or, that very often as addicts, if we confront anybody on anything, what's the first thing we do? We arch our back like a cat, right? And we have to justify, right? Defense. We have to justify. Well, let me tell you why I did that. Instead, I just hung my head and went, "Oh man, Mark, I'm so sorry," And both of us were able to get a pretty good laugh out of it. But it has become the focus of my life to try to become the best person I can be, and to try to be the best embodiment of Tommy. The drug thing, it has to be a number one focus, has to remain the number one focus. But the longer you're sober, the less you got to worry about that. Honestly, the longer you have it under control, the more you can start to get to other things. And it's funny, people, because it's a domino effect, right? This will make a lot of sense, especially the longer you're sober. This will make a lot of sense. Now, the things that I'm attacking, done correctly, I never get to the drug aspect of things anyway, because a lot of times with us, when you're fighting to get sober, the computer doesn't do 1 + 1 = 3. That's not what makes you relapse. It's 1 + 1 divided by 6 times 0.7, right? The equation's this long. And then after the equal sign, it's I'm going to go to dope. And if we can break that up anywhere in the middle of it, then we're not in danger. And the reactive part of the brain, you have to understand that we programmed it. We programmed it. This is what we did. We programmed ourselves to be, insert whatever you want, an alcoholic, a drug addict, a rageaholic, someone that procrastinates. All of these things are a learned behavior. And when we talk about learned behavior, people, it really becomes, I programmed my gray matter. Okay, I have a project due. It is coming up. I'm stressed out about that project, right? The stress, all of this, what am I going to do? Procrastinate. The striatum, that part of your brain goes, oh, I know what to do. Because every time this happens, they take whatever's stressing them out and they push it off for 4 days. So now, without even thinking about it, There's a part of your brain that in a split second makes the decision for you. It's like an onboard computer for your car. Hey, Miss Honeybee, good to see you. This also happens with things like confidence or lack of it. There are a lot of people listening to the sound of my voice who make videos on YouTube, right? A bunch of us do. And it's funny how you go through phases as a content creator. There are times where you really feel like you're hitting it out of the park, right? And during those times, you want to create more content. Why? Because 1 + 1 + this equals I feel like a success. And when you feel like a success, your brain releases opiates into the brain. No joke. The striatum kicks out man-made opiates, and they coat the receptors. And when they coat the receptors of your brain, you get the exact same emotional feeling as if you're hanging out with a loved one, as if everything in life is great. Now, do 1 or 2 really bad shows, right? And all of a sudden, instead of getting that opiate, you get doubt. Okay, 1 + 1. Okay, oh, I got to do this show, man. I got to do this show in an hour. I don't want to do this show. I don't even know why I do this stuff. Why did I even start this damn channel? And great content creators, people who are amazing at what they do, bail. We almost did. We really did. We went through a section, and I'm not talking about our month off, people. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about last December, where we came to believe that we couldn't protect the people on the boat from outside influences. And we did all kinds of we had the best of intentions. And both of us, we took the channel down, we moved it to a different platform, we did all kinds of things. And the truth is, this is where we find the people that need us. This is where we find a crew of people that have all been looking for themselves for years and not knowing they've been looking for each other, rather. For years, you've all been looking for each other. You just want a group of people that will accept you who you are, not judge you, and help you work through the day-to-day trials of life that tend to cause us to drink and drug. Or once again, insert whatever. You realize that this applies to you, whether or not you're a drug addict, or whether or not you're someone who suffers from vicious anxiety, or you're someone that procrastinates, or you're somebody that binge eats, or you're somebody that whatever. The striatum doesn't just mess with drug addicts. It messes with every single human being. It is a recording device that records your decision-making process. And if you think about it, people, this makes perfect sense. Imagine if every single time anything happened, you had to process it. Hey, that is a big furry animal. That thing must be what, 175, 180 pounds? I think that thing's heading in this direction. Boy, I noticed my adrenaline is starting to really kick in. I wonder what that's all about. Now, you see a bear, or you see something that gets your heart racing, and by the time you're processing that whole, good Lord, this is an animal that can eat me, you're usually in a different zip code, right? You have turned tail and gotten a lot of distance between you and that animal. Or a car is coming down the road and you're in the process of reading a text message or whatever, so that you're not paying any attention to what you're doing. And as you go to step off the curb, you hear a horn, right? You don't have to go, I wonder why I'm here. You instantly jam on the brakes. You freeze 1 foot in the air before you take the next step. This is how the brain protects us. Makes sense, right? Okay. It's a learned behavior. It is the reaction part of your brain dealing with learned behavior. Now, spend 5 or 6 years doing the wrong thing. Whether that wrong thing is doubting yourself or doing drugs or drinking, but every time this situation arises, this is how we're going to handle it. Truthfully, if you think about it in these terms, it is the exact same thing. There's no difference between fight or flight and grab a beer. In the brain, it thinks it's protecting you. That's what's going on. Boy, look at Mark. He's stressing to beat everything. And, everything in life seems like it's in a really bad. Oh, yeah. You know what? Have him eat 4 pills. Have him eat 4 pills. Send that message down and have him send it down fast. And since he's really stressing, he should probably chew them, right? Let's get this into his system as fast as we can. It almost sounds humorous, but it is exactly what's happening. Well, not anymore, but you understand what I'm saying. This is what fueled the addiction in each and every one of us. So when you find yourself on the threshold of, I really want to be the best person I can be, right? We talk about this all the time. That window, it stays open for a very brief period of time and then it closes very quickly. But if you really want to change who you are, then it's not enough to say I'm going to stop doing drugs. It's a hell of a start. But if you want that to work, then you have to start reprogramming the brain so that you can get self-control. And the term itself, as I said earlier, is a misnomer, right? We don't get self-control. We're never going to be some people who go, I can control any situation. No, but you're going to get the reactive part of your brain to do the right thing in every situation. When I was in the sentencing with Virginia, the reactive part of my brain was like, just start yelling F-bombs. Let these people know just how messed up this is. Let them know what an awful attorney this is. Let them know how unjust this is. Like, honestly, that the thoughts that came into my head while I was sitting there, I sat and went 1 + 1 = what the hell are you thinking? Right? Like, it was just every one of these thoughts was awful. So I deferred to the lifeboat, right? Get up and get out. Get out of the room. Get out of this situation. We probably haven't mentioned this in a long time on the boat, but you're never going to offend anybody. I promise you, you're not. You're never going to offend anybody if you look at them and go, you know what? I'm a recovering addict. And I'm dealing with a bunch right now that's just, I don't feel right. I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk out of here. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do. I just got to get out of this room for a minute. You can say that in the middle of a conversation. And if somebody treats you with anything other than respect, go like this and erase them off your friend list because they're an ass. Please.
Hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and post the link to the phone. I put the phone number in a link now, okay? So if you guys want to use your phone, you can do that. If you call in, there's a passcode you'll have to enter, and it will be there also. So if you guys want to call in while we're getting ready to take some calls, you can go ahead and do that while Tommy's still talking, and we can make that happen, okay, guys? Just wanted to make sure you guys knew that while we're going. So, and
yeah,
should be.
I probably should have led with that. I probably should have led with that.
No, you're all right.
Always and forever, people, from this point forward. If something's going on in your life and you feel like you're in a bad place, you can always dial up. This is a call-in program from this point until the end of time. You should probably just assume that unless we say something other than that, right, then you can always call in and we're always going to take the calls. And I just have to comment. I realize it has nothing to do with anything, but I'm a squirrel. I saw a comment about squirreling it's my defining characteristic. I saw a comment that Miss V wrote. She said, "Sounds like a hoarder, Truth. I own 2 pairs of shoes and 1 pair of slippers." He was talking about his mother. Love to find special deals. I got 80% off these shoes that you would never wear. It's the same behavior. You understand that? There are people out there that all of these different things, as crazy and as different as they are in so many ways, they're the exact same thing. There is a endorphin released in the brain when you shop, when you feel like you got a bargain or you do this. It is no different to the brain than a shot or a pill or hit me dealer, right? Looking for the next card, waiting on a horse race. All of these things do the same thing in the brain. Now, they're not always the exact same chemical. There are certain chemicals that certain drugs that release different chemicals, but they have the exact same effect on the brain because there's a whole host of different man-made drugs that are hanging out in little tanks in the brain, getting ready to be released under certain situations. Right? From adrenaline, which will make you feel like you're doing blow, to stuff that will calm you so much you feel like you're going to fall asleep, right? And different things bring them out, sometimes naturally, right? Have you ever felt like taking a really good nap after Thanksgiving dinner, right? Because tryptophan, which you find in turkey, is going to release all of these, what is the name of that chemical? Tryptophan releases melatonin. Thank you. So that's my partner. And that melatonin makes you want to go to sleep. Well, what I'm here to tell you is that the striatum does the same thing. You don't have to eat, you don't have to drink, you don't have to do anything to get these things released. You program your brain. You literally can turn your brain into anything. And the Robbins Institute, and you can go ahead and get a chuckle if you want, but there are very few people on the planet that have studied the brain as much as Tony Robbins and the people that he has hired. The Robbins Institute has done amazing studies with stuff like this, and you can program the brain to do things that are honestly remarkable. You know, you see people and you go, how is it possible that they do this? What they've done is they've literally taken the hard drive of the brain and said, okay, this is what's capable. You know, this is what you're capable of. We're going to change this completely. I went through, I've talked about this before on the lifeboat. A boss that I worked for back in the day sent myself and two other people to go see the Mastery University, is what they used to call it back in the day. And it was put on by the Robbins Institute. And the speakers that you see over the course of a week are people like Oprah Winfrey and Deepak Chopra and Colin Powell. They had just amazing group of speakers. And over the course of about a week, they reprogram your brain. They don't tell you that that's what they're going to do when you get there, but they reprogram your brain. And I remember just saying over and over again, how cool is it that my boss would send us here? Like, it was at the time, it was like $27,000, right? It was a lot of money in a time when 27 grand is not what 27 grand is today, right? It was a lot of money. And we had been back in the office. It was a sales floor, and we had been back on the office for probably 4 weeks, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Everybody he sent to this was doing about 60% more a week in sales volume, right? They reprogrammed the brain. They made it so that it wasn't going to work anymore. They showed us what goal setting was about, and they programmed us so that as we started to see success at work, we craved it in a way that we hadn't before. And it was a really interesting study to watch this happen. And I remember, you know, a few years later, it was our office, and we were sending our top guys there because the exact same thing was going to happen, you know. And go ahead. Who we got? S, welcome to the lifeboat. SI, okay. You there, SI?
Who you looking for? Oh, hold on. Okay.
Quick save.
Don't have sound now. How's that? Well,
Welcome to the lifeboat. Who am I talking to?
he's talking to Steve, our seventh son.
Aha! Hey, one of my favorite people.
Hey, I just wanted to come in and give everything a try to make sure things are working the way they should.
You know what? I'm glad that you took the opportunity to do this. You know what? I got to tell this story, and I hadn't planned on it, but I'm going to. There are honestly, this was, and I thought about this at length, and I wasn't going to tell this story, and now I'm going to because I think it's the timing is right. There's a lot of people in this boat. In fact, congratulations for a lot of hard effort by my partner, who really sort of spearheads this part of what we do. But the crew has swelled to over 2,600. We hit that last night, so well done, Mark. And yeah, we couldn't be more happy about it. And when you have 2,600 people on the boat, if somebody misses a show, you're probably not going to notice. But there is a core group of people that if they miss the show, you notice. So we didn't see Steve live. Doesn't mean he wasn't there, but we didn't see him live on I think it was our Friday, right? So it would have been Tuesday night. And people, I don't track you down if you miss a show, unless you're seventh son, in which case there's a pretty good chance I'm gonna try to track you down. And I shot off a message to him that just said, "Hey, you know, I didn't see you there," and that doesn't happen very often. So I just wanted to make sure you were all right. In the exchange, that message was missed, And so were like the next three because of, and it's not his fault. It's because, you know, I wasn't calling on his telephone. We had, you know, I use Messenger and other services to get a hold of people on the boat. But I spent a few days really, really, really kind of worried. Yeah. And here's the thing. And I know, and I feel bad because he beat himself up pretty bad about it. And it was one of those situations where the second I heard from him, you know, it was, the relief was palpable. I didn't care anymore. You know, yeah, who cares? You know, he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that you were worried." I'm like, "Oh, I don't care." Just so, you know, so happy that he was all right because he's just been such a faithful part of this crew for so long. He's like Charlie and like a lot of the core group here that, boy, if they're not here, it's like, you know, it's like looking at the Mona Lisa and going, "Is there a reason they removed the nose? Like, what's wrong with the picture?" But go ahead.
Yes. I think I ended up clicking the link because I didn't have the proper code. It was asked. I put it in your attention in the chat. It was asking for some number. It wasn't the number that you said was the code.
See that we're learning on the fly.
It repeated it back. It repeated it back to me, so I know I entered it right. Yeah.
No
Well,
question, right?
technically, I am using my phone. It's just as a computer.
Well, and you know, while he's here and we can embarrass him in person, I have said so many times that it's an inspiration, the how he took the bull by the horns. So, Steve, we really appreciate everything you've done to actually try to fight this you know, this scourge of stuff coming across the border and everything that this has done to the country. We ask everybody, you know what, reach out, talk to a you know, any of the elected officials, and just become a thorn in their side. And you know, I think Steve kind of looked at it and said, well, you know, there's, at the time, there's about what, 2,000 people on this boat. I figure 90% of them might not do it. So I'm just going to do it as if I were 2,000 people. And that's about what he did. The number of people that he contacted, the number of letters that he wrote. It's that kind of action that, truthfully, if one out of every 10 people that were angry about this did what Steve did, this would be over. True story. So huge shout out to you on that, Steve, and to this season and everything that that you've done to lighten the mood. The dad jokes that uh, Steve has been doing this. This seventh son has been doing this entire second season has been nothing shy of amazing. Now, if he can keep that up for an entire year, it will be fairly impressive. No question. No question.
I'm glad. It's,
Yeah, I really am. And you know, just quickly, Brian Michaels. Did I just see that name in the? Brian Michaels says, "Hey, everybody, looks like the group has grown. Just got out of rehab a few days back." And he was talking about the 1970s porn mustache. Brian, we're glad that you're back. And you know what? Rehab can be the best thing that ever happened to you. It really can. And you know, if you use this as a stepping stone, then boy, how great is that? You know, I'm really happy to hear that you're in there. Joanna W. He did turn down his volume on on YouTube when he called, when Steve called in. If he didn't, you would know. It is dramatic. Correct.
But I'm sorry, but what's so sad is, speaking of Joanna, a few months back was reaching out to me. I had just gotten my new phone. I didn't set up notifications, but I'm going to the app and I'm not seeing it, just like I was at the app and I didn't see yours, Tommy. So it's something wrong with me. I need to make sure I check. So I owe you both an apology.
You know what? Apology accepted. Right? You again, I was just so damn happy that you were all right. Because again, you're as constant as the Northern Star. You know what I mean? But I did see
I thought you were going to say a herpes sore, but
yeah, no, and I do have herpes sores that are probably near your age. No, okay, do that. Right, he's not kicking up. And Brandon Taylor actually put a little money up that says for a live dad joke. So if you got one in the chamber, seventh, Brandon Taylor absolutely wants to hear one live. No pressure.
okay. How do you deal with a fear of speed bumps? You slowly get over it.
You know something? It's timely. You know what? Slowly getting over things. Not doesn't just work one in, but works one in that is timely with everything we're talking about. Well played, Steve. That's perfect. Good stuff. And thank you very much for calling in, brother. I probably know more than most. That is a big deal for real. It really, really is. And yeah, Brian Michaels liked it too. Don't worry about it. Yep. Yeah. Cool. And it's funny, people, if you think about it, we're not changing the format in the slightest from Jump Street. I would say about 30 days after Mark and I partnered up on this, we went live the first time.
They didn't hear a word I said. I was muted.
How about that? They just thought I was sitting here going,
nodding. Yeah,
I'm pondering my next thought.
Sorry, yes, guys. Sorry, guys.
My partner was talking. This will explain, I think, anyway.
Okay.
The people never worry about the subject matter that we're talking about on the lifeboat. From the time that Mark and I partnered up, we went live. Mark kind of dragged me kicking and screaming. I liked the idea. It's just that it took a long time. From the time that we talked about doing it, Mark saw the potential for what live meant to the lifeboat long before I did. And from the very first time that we went live, what we have found is that very often, and I don't mean this in a bad way, so don't take this the wrong way, but for very often we're background noise to what's going on in the chat. There are times you guys are very engaged in everything we're talking about, and there are times that you're not. And the times that you're not may be the most important times on the lifeboat. It's usually because somebody is going through something that is difficult enough that they're bringing it to the crew, and the crew is always there to give advice and tell people they're praying for them, or if there's anything I can do to help or anything like that. So we're not changing that format at all. What we're doing now is giving the opportunity for if something is troubling you now, if something is troubling you now, you have the ability to take it to the boat in the form of a call.
Yep.
And so it really is. Daniel, good to see you.
And that's okay
You know
too,
what?
Daniel.
No
Yeah.
pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure from anybody.
Yeah.
You can listen. You can listen to this show and never call in, and you're not hurting anybody's feelings. And I'll tell you something: if we haven't demonstrated that we can talk for, for 3 hours nonstop, that's not a problem ever. If there's never anything that you all want to talk about, then you're just going to be on the lifeboat. But always know if you're sitting there thinking, you know what, what's going on in life is killing me, but I don't want to interrupt Tommy. He seems like he's on a roll. Then you're not getting what we're talking about.
I think the conversation becomes faster and you get more out when you're just speaking back and forth. And
no question.
And like if you type a comment in the live chat, guys, then Tommy has to read it. Then we got to talk about it, and then everybody in the chat has to comment back or what have you. If you're talking,
and when I see it, it's not live. You understand that, right?
Right.
So as I'm commenting to you, I have to wait 30 seconds for you to hear it. Then you put up. So very often it looks like I'm adult because I'm reading things and going, "Oh, he said so and so." No, I'm looking at something you said 30 seconds ago or 40 seconds ago. The format of instant, back and forth. But that's only if there's something going on in your life or you feel like there's something you need to talk about. Like at the end of the yesterday's show, I don't remember who it was, but I read a comment that just said, "I'm really having a hard time and I feel like I'm slipping." And I remember my response to them was, you know what? If you want to call in, we'll be here tomorrow night. If you feel like you find yourself in a place where you're slipping or you're having a bad time, I feel a bit of an idiot, but I really do need you guys right now. Well, see, that's kind of, where we're going with this, Major. You know what? It was Major yesterday. Major, hit that button and call in.
Yeah,
we
got somebody else in here. So.
Okay.
All right, Steve.
All right. I'll see you.
I'll see you
Steve,
later,
you're
bud.
a gentleman, my brother. Love you. Take care.
Love you. Bye-bye.
See you, bud.
Yep. You know what? He really is great.
Yep, he is.
He really is great. All right, who we got?
DUY win. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but yeah.
Is that?
It's Tara.
Oh, it's Tara. Hi, Tara. How are you?
Hey, Mark.
How you doing?
Not too bad.
Good.
Tara, welcome to the lifeboat.
Thank you, Captain.
Yeah, happy to have you. It's always great to hear a voice too. You know what I mean? To put a voice to an avatar, so to speak.
Right.
And a face. So, are you calling to say hello, or is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to say hello to everybody. I love you guys, and I don't have anything to say today.
You know what? We're glad you called, and I tell you what, I'm glad that you've chosen to join us on the lifeboat. I really am. It's
Hey, Tara.
Go ahead, Mark.
Where are you at in the world? Can you give us a region somewhere?
Me?
Yeah.
I live in Palm Coast, Florida.
Okay.
Ooh, it's warm.
I just signed up for the HAV in Britain, and hopefully they're gonna hire me because I'm into the aerospace stuff. So.
Oh, really? That's interesting. That's really interesting.
So hopefully I can move to Europe.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Be real
Yeah,
cool.
very cool.
Yeah.
And then you can.
Anyways, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, well, you know how many friends from the lifeboat that we already have over there? You can go and meet up with an awful lot of people that you probably already hang out with in the comment section. Tara, thank you so much for calling in. We're so happy that you're on the boat with us.
Yes,
We really are.
thank you.
Guys.
Appreciate you.
God bless. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. The
Thank
Major
you.
says he is trying to call in. He says, I guess I have to shout louder coming from the UK.
Well, hold on a minute. I can get you a link. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna.
Major, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get a link from a different place here and see if it's a different one. I don't think it is, but I'll try it.
Okay. Full of Hope says, I could call in with my Irish accent. You probably wouldn't understand me. You know something? We've already demonstrated on this boat on multiple occasions that the people on the lifeboat love an Irish accent or a Scottish accent or anything else. So they may not understand every word you say, but boy, they'd be happy about it. They
Yeah.
really would.
Okay, let me
The car looks nice, but the muffler seems exhausted. Ba-dum-bum.
tell you what I'm gonna
Seventh
do.
son.
Let's go ahead and dismiss that one. I'm just gonna put the link up there for now, guys. So let me do it. There we go. All right. You guys keep going, guys. I'm just trying to do some tech stuff here.
Yeah, I was just reading a couple of see that YT says Irish accents are the best. Joanna W says, I love an Aussie accent. No reason why. Yeah, whatever. Yep, I'm a fan of Aussie accents for the same reason. Okay. No, I you know what? I'm a bit of an Anglophile, so the British, the Scottish, the Australian and New Zealand, all those accents, and it's really funny because you always think, thank you, mental grace. You always think that you don't have an accent, right? Everybody else does, and then you realize that in the rest of the world, we're the people with the accents.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. You never think you're the one that has the weird sounding voice. It's always somebody else. All right, so that should be pinned up there now. That's just a link, so that should get you in. If it doesn't, we'll have to figure something else out.
So, Major, give that a try. Let's see what happens.
I'm curious to know if it's not working because you're in the UK. We'll have to figure that out if it's not.
Absolutely, we will, because as everyone knows, this is this boat hits every harbor.
Hey, hey, anybody else could call in too. I mean, you guys can keep calling all the time if you want. I mean, I can open the queue up, and I think I got it set to a specific number. You can't get it past, but we'll never go there, get that high.
Right?
Not right now.
Yeah, it is one of those situations, people, that if ever you feel like something's on the plate, you call. If not, don't fear. Let's see, we're at, I don't know, about 600 hours, I think, right?
Yep. Yeah.
of nonstop hearing ourselves talk here on the lifeboat. So we're
and this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and this is gonna morph, guys. I mean, this is a learning process for me and for Tommy, I think, a little bit here. And we're trying to get this ironed out the way it works best for you guys.
No question. And my Major says, yeah, I don't think that's working.
Can I get somebody?
Major,
There's somebody. Wolfie called in here. Okay, Wolfie's in here. It must be a UK thing.
Okay, Major, we're going to figure this out for you. In the meantime, you have my email address. So when this show is over, if you email Captain Tommy Scoville at gmail.com, then we will go from there.
Yeah. Hey, Wolfie.
All right, I'm here.
Hey, Major, if you got my email too, right? I can actually send you a link to your email, and you could come in that way. But if that's not working, you want to call in, just let me know.
What's that?
I was talking to Major. He was asking a question. Hey, how you doing, Wolf?
I'm doing all right, man. How y'all doing, brothers?
Doing good.
No complaints. No complaints at all. Welcome to the lifeboat.
Thank you. Yeah, I dropped in to chat, saying I cut back on my meds today. I'm working my way off this oxycodone, and I think I've got a few more days, and I go back to the doctor and, cut me loose.
Was this for something short term, or is this
I've
like a long term pain?
I've been on pain meds since March, and on and off, and I've cut myself off 2 or 3 times, and I wasn't able to tolerate the pain, so I had to go back on them. And you know what? Actually, I think there's an aspect of it that I had a meltdown last week, and it was really tough. The hydrocodone shifted gears, and it acted like speed, and it just, I wasn't sleeping. I'm driving my freaking family insane, because I've been up for so long. And so I went toe-to-toe with the doctors to try and change my meds, and I finally got that done, and they put me on the oxycodone, which they had me out in the hospital, post-op. And it seemed to calm me down, start to get some sleep, and now just recently it's starting to shift gears again, like it's going to start keeping me up. So I opted to start dosing myself out of it slowly, you know. And,
if you don't mind me asking, what was the original injury?
I have right hip, bilateral hip osteoarthritis. So degenerative. So I ended up with a complete total right hip replacement.
Yeah, that's a really, really tough surgery. What dose do they have you on?
5-3-2-5 oxy aceta.
Okay. Yeah. So how many of those do you? How many of them do you?
One every 6 hours.
Okay. And not to pry too deep, but were you taking it exactly as they told you when you had the opposite effect?
Oh yeah, that was the hydrocodone. So they were doing it was every 4 to 6 hours on that prescription, and then I thought it was a pain, because in the hospital I'd sleep. They had me dosed out, on oxy there, and it was like a high grade stuff. And every about 2 hours, I'm up, I'm down, and it's kind of like followed suit as the one I got out. And so at one point, I was up 40 hours straight, and I was just like, I've had it, and I had to, call the doctor, said something needs to change because this is going to affect my healing. I'm not sleeping, and that's where the healing is. And so, hey, I've got a past, I definitely do. I've been down the roads, man, down the trenches, I've lost everything many times, and I'm grateful to be here. I've been at battle with the whole system my whole life, and I don't want that anymore. I'm a good man. And so, I sobered up it's been 11 years since I've been sober, and then having this run going through pain medications, and I've listened to Wages over the years talk about working through things and all that, and I get it, and now I get it. Yeah, I understand.
Right. Yep. Here's the thing too. I'm not a doctor, right? Neither of us are, but we've spent a decent amount of time, especially with this particular substance. Sometimes you need long-term pain management. There's no way around it. Like if I had hip replacement, I'd be in a world of hurt because I would need long-term pain management. There's nothing you can do. I mean, you can't say to someone who just had their hip replaced, just tough it out with some aspirin, you'll be fine. Yeah. It's not realistic. So,
no way.
But if we're closing in on 6 months, they should get you onto something that doesn't have acetaminophen in it. Because if you take, doing anything that's long-term now, we're not talking about, when you're closing in on 6 months, that's long-term pain management, and they can step you down. That's the right way to do it. It's once the pain is gone, but that acetaminophen starts to really add up. And if you've, like you say, we've been down roads, right? So we probably haven't been great to our liver in the past, and acetaminophen is bad for the liver. The reason they put so much of it in there is because it's supposed to act as an anti-inflammatory. Which is great because anti-inflammatories do stop pain. But, when you take something like that for 4 or 5 months, that acetaminophen starts, wreaking havoc on the liver. So you might just want to ask your doc.
They back a while back, I'm not sure, people that haven't taken pain meds for a while, they actually went from Loratab to Norco. And the Norco has a little bit less acetaminophen in it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, there are actually some, especially in the Perk family, right? In the family of Percocet, which is it's the same family anyway. They have them that do not have any acetaminophen or really, really low amounts. Although 325 is less than the 500, so they're probably already thinking about it. But how's the pain level now? Is it killing you?
You know what? No. I mean, I've been steady every 6 hours, and like I said, I went 7.5 hours this morning before I cut my dose in half, and right now I'm already 5 hours into that, and I'm doing okay.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
Good, man.
Yeah. So,
hey, Brian, hold on 1 second, Brian. Okay.
Sure. So, and that's my plan. Is just to kind of cut it back, to half, and then just get off it. But my surgeon said, came in as he was releasing me and said, I suggest you get off this right away. I'm like thinking, well, this, honestly, it's like they went in and cut my leg off and put it back together. So it's kind of painful.
Wow.
No,
Shoved-
that's literally what they did.
Wow.
Yes.
Make no mistake. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not joking, Mark. When they do hip replacement, they literally remove the leg from the ball and socket joint.
Yeah.
They fillet it.
Yeah.
No, that's just what they did. No exaggeration.
That's a shocked laugh. That wasn't me laughing at anybody. It's like, what the heck? Cut your leg off.
Yeah. My surgeon used a robot, so they used precision with lasers and.
Oh, I've had that done. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've had that
and
done.
so they take a router and route out the pelvis, and then slap a cup in there with some cement, and then they cut about, I don't know, a quarter of the femur off the ball, and then put in it's basically hammer in a titanium rod with some cement, and then slap it all in there, and then put everything, kind of move everything back in and get the ligaments all around, and internal stitches, some glue and tape.
Yep.
Cool.
Crazy, man.
That literally, hey, M. Hunt, have a good night. I don't think you could describe that any better. It's just what I know a couple of people that have been through that. Are they going to be doing the other side in 6 months, a year?
I asked him that that morning because the MRI said the left one was moderate to severe, and he said, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
That was actually going to be my advice. Everyone I know that decided to do both have regretted it.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
No.
It's just,
Hey, Major.
a shock to the body.
Major, we got you in here. Just hold on a second, okay, bud?
Okay, I'll cut it short. I just want to let you know, I love you all. Thank you.
Hey,
Well,
thank you so much
thanks
for
for calling
calling
in,
in,
man.
man.
Call back.
And
Yeah.
keep up the strength, bud. That's impressive stuff to be able to phase that off on your own. In answer to Seventh Son, Percodan is absolutely still manufactured. It does not seem to get the same press as its cousin, right? Percocet, but it is absolutely still manufactured, to be sure.
Awesome.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right.
Major, you're here.
No, we got Brian here. Major's here too.
Oh, we got Brian.
Brian called in first, so we'll get him.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Hey, Cap, how are you?
I'm
How's wages?
I'm doing good, man. How are you, bud? I'm glad to hear you out of rehab.
Yeah,
So,
good for you.
Yeah, man. How you doing with that?
Yeah,
I lost him there. You hear?
I'm doing pretty well.
Oh, you're doing well? Okay.
Working out and every day.
Did you come out of rehab with
Anyways,
with medicated assisted treatment or not? Are you just detox?
Nah,
Okay. Cool.
yeah, I went through detox like the first, 4 or 5 days.
Yep.
But anyways, I thought it was super cool that y'all have the line that you can call now.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to tell y'all that I just love y'all, and I appreciate both of you and everything you do. And
Well, we appreciate
I
you,
just-
man. We really do.
I am so happy that you're
Yeah,
back.
I am.
Brian was such a huge supporter of the show. Really, really good to us. When in a time when there weren't a lot of people being good to the lifeboat, we went through a time where a lot of people hated us, and Brian was just really, really solid, always there for us and supporting us. So, man, I can't tell you how happy I am to hear that you were in rehab and that things are going good. God bless you, Brian. Hope to see you here every day.
Yeah, I'm tuning in. So
Awesome.
keep doing it.
Awesome,
Good.
man.
And never hesitate to call if you start feeling like you need a little
Hey.
a little talking.
Hey,
We'd love to talk to you.
Brian,
Definitely.
just out of curiosity, did you call the number or did you click the link?
I clicked the link
Okay.
and I had to download Zoom
Yeah,
first.
sometimes it'll make
Yep.
you do that. Yeah. Yeah, okay. That's
Okay.
why I'm just curious. Sorry, guys.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. You got to keep the crazies out, right?
Well, that me and Tommy wouldn't be here if they was keeping the crazy out.
it'd be a small boat, wouldn't it? Be a rowboat.
We'd be out here by ourselves, man, for sure.
God bless, Brian. I'm so happy you're
Well,
out, man.
to
Good
be
to hear
crazy-
from you.
I love you guys.
Love you too, brother.
Love you
Keep
too,
up.
man.
See you.
Peace.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Hey, Major, you there? Hello. He's
You
in.
gotta be kidding.
He's in.
No, Major.
He's in here. He's still here. I'm not sure if he can get his
Okay.
sound working or not. Let's see here. Fast start.
Hey, hold on. Can you disconnect me?
Yeah, I can do that. Hold on one second. I'll disconnect you real quick. It's all right. There we go.
Yep, I just see Brian Michaels left. All right, Major, you there?
I'm not really sure. He's here, but his sound isn't working. I just wonder if he ain't, because usually I get a thing that says that, and I can click to ask them to unmute, but I'm not getting any of that. So it might be something wrong with the link or something. I don't know.
You know what? He probably turned down the volume,
Maybe.
so he may not be hearing us.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, Major, man. We'll get you in tomorrow though, okay? For sure.
Is Swiss Vape here tonight?
Yeah, he's here. Was anyway. I'm not sure if he's still here or not.
Okay.
Well, we're at the top anyway, Tommy. If you want to,
I know. I just hadn't seen Swiss Vape in a minute, and I'm worried about him. All right,
he's here. He's here.
Good.
Here.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, he's here. So
I am glad to hear that. We are at the top of the hour. We slid a little bit over. I think that may happen from time to time because we're most assuredly not going to bail in the middle of the phone.
Yeah, we're not going to do that to anybody. That's rude.
No, we're not. So the big red button will just have to deal with that.
Yep.
So, tell you what, people, we're ironing it out. It's getting it really is getting smoother with each show. Great night, great Sunday night. A lot of people here tonight. A lot of new people.
Yep.
As I said earlier, we hit the 2,600 mark. So I want to say a big thanks to Mark and the family from Wages World. Lots of whom have been coming over, and I've said this before. I know you're sick of hearing it, but it's just different. When people come from other platforms, you might get a click, but you don't get a subscriber. You don't get a family member that sticks around and talks to you and becomes part of the fabric of the show. And when they come from Wages World, it's like they've been here forever, and it's just a really, really cool thing. Thanks to everybody that called in. Wolf, really appreciate you calling in.
Yep.
Tara, it was great to hear your voice. Glad that you're here. Seventh Son, you are a beast. You really are. One of he is.
Yes.
He's just a really, really
He's a
solid,
legend, man. He's a legend.
Yep, no question. And
I want to give a special shout out here real quick to What's Truth. He just simply put great channel, subbed and liked. So hopefully you come back. What's Truth?
Very cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I know I said this earlier. I'm going to say it again. Thoughts and prayers for Tommy Bird, people, please.
Yeah.
All right, I love Tommy. Thoughts and prayers for Tommy. He's really crew here, and just that justice is served.
Hey.
Because if justice is served, there'll be no issue.
That's right. We're going to pray for him, okay, guys, and send him love and light, or whatever you do, just do it. He'll take it. And Major, email me, okay? We'll work this out. We'll get you on, okay?
And email me too, especially if you're going through it, brother. Email me.
Yeah.
If you're in a bad place, don't wait until the next show. CaptainTommyScoville@gmail.com.
Right,
All right. Tara says, I love this boat. One quick announcement before we go. We are in season 2, people, right? You know what that means? It means we need another t-shirt. So there's going to be some t-shirt ideas, and we're going to give the crew a chance to vote on them so that you can tell us which shirt we go with. And we're going to keep this your boat. So there are some ideas and there are some designs being done. So you'll be seeing it shortly. Alrighty. We will be back tomorrow night. Can't wait to see each and every one of you here. Thank you so much. You made it a great show. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and on the other side of the glass,
Mark Wages.
And I know the only reason you tune in, that, people, is a cat far too large for her basket. I'm actually going to have to get her another one. Getting a little beefy for the basket. Good night, everybody. We love you.
We love the mods, too. Great job tonight, guys.
Yep, really a great job. The mods rock.